We are on day 2 of leveling week. We're going to take each base class. So, I guess, man, you're going to make me look at this, aren't you? We're going to take an Acolyte, Rogue, Primalist, Sentinel, and Mage. And we're going to level them all in the most meta way possible. It's not how I would level something myself. I tend to level stuff with like whatever my endgame skills are going to be, even if it's bad, because it's the way that I enjoy it. But if there is a meta way of leveling something, if there is like an OP strat, I want to know what it is, and I want to have some experience with it. So this is day 2. We're going to play Rogue, and apparently we're leveling as a marksman, and I've got 2 swords here. So I have not looked at this ahead of time, but I want to know roughly what's going on. What on earth? Is this the OP leveling strategy? Is this what? Holy moly, what is this, chat? But I just recently leveled with Smoke Bomb, and it was so stupid. It was so absurdly strong. Melee Channeling Flurry is super awesome. Really? It's that good? So this is the same kind of thing that we leveled our Acolyte as yesterday, where like we could very easily level a Blade Dancer this way or Marksman this way, because we're only speccing into the first half of the tree. We can attack 6 times with Puncture, and then we can flurry them to death. But all these points look excellent. I've got no complaints at all with this mastery here. This all makes a lot of sense. I've played a couple bleed builds. I don't think I've played bleed melee yet. Alright, we've got ourselves a loot filter. We have, technically, an idea of what we're planning on doing. We're going to level with Channeled Flurry. And we're not leveling with Smoke Bomb. So I gotta tell you this much, alright? If I were making my own leveling notes about how to level a rogue, I would 100% have Smoke Bomb and then all the points specced into Shadow Daggers. That's what I would do. I've already got one good way of leveling stuff. Let's see if we can find a second good way of leveling stuff. How about that? Leveling with Smoke Bomb and speccing all your points down into Knives in the Dark. And then like all your points into Eroding Fumes and Swirling Fog. If you level like that, you can just use like a big 2-handed weapon. Because Shadow Daggers have the throwing tag and the melee tag. And they benefit from like plus melee damage, right? Despite you using a throwing smoke bomb to apply them, which is a little bit weird. It's a little strange interaction there. And I think Puncture is a little hard to scale into the end game, not only because of damage. It's like a little bit low on damage. It's fine, a little bit low on damage, but also because like the AOE, right? The AOE on Puncture is super rough. If you're interested in playing like, I guess I'm talking about bow Puncture at this point. But if you're interested in playing bow Puncture, you might also be interested in playing Bleed Detonating Arrow. I don't want to be in melee range. Oh my god. This melee nonsense is... It's just that, isn't it? Is it just me, or are monsters like stronger? Did the patch already happen? Did they buff monster damage? I feel like I'm not supposed to use Flurry until it's channeled. Does that make sense? So we just want any weapon that has chance to bleed, right? That's like the #1 thing we care about right now. I feel like nothing that I have has any AoE on it. That's so rough. But I have to walk up to a monster to deal damage to it. What a nightmare. Alright, we're channeling. Let's do it. Okay. All right. That was pretty good. Oh my god, I died. Look, chat, I'm too far away. Oh, now we got him. Are you kidding me? Are you absolutely kidding me? I think I'm supposed to be using Puncture instead. You know what I mean? It's an extended melee jab. So it gives you extra range. So you don't have to be standing literally on top of a monster to deal damage. Okay, maybe that's the trick. I don't think I really should be using Flurry at all. Unless it's like a 1v1 scenario. Like against a boss. Or I have Shockwaves. So we're probably going to put that skill in the back burner for a bit. And then from last time we were doing this, we've learned that we don't actually need to go down to slap that portion of the mission right there. So even though my minimap is telling me to go straight and go investigate that bit, we don't have to. Okay, that's kind of like AoE. So I guess maybe Flurry is like my main skill now, is that it? Bleed chance is an ailment, just like everything else that's an ailment in last Epoch. Which means that if you have a 100% chance to bleed on hit, and you hit the enemy one time, the enemy will have 1 stack of bleed. If you have 250 bleed, if you have 250% chance to bleed on hit, and you hit an enemy one time, then the enemy will have 2 bleeds on them, with a 50% chance of having a 3rd bleed applied. If you've only played Path of Exile, then that's going to feel very strange to you. It's kind of like Atlas completion bonus, if you want to think about it like that. That was pretty fast. Like, credit where credit is due, right? Credit where credit is due. And that was a super fast boss fight. So we have 19,000 gold. Let's look at armor real quick. We're going to grab some Outcast gloves. We can probably only afford 1 pair.
Not bad.
Necrotic res, throwing attack speed. Yup, perfect. Great. Let's do that. Let's go to accessories and grab a gold ring, which is 5,000 gold.
Looks powerful.
We're going to grab 2 of these. Necrotic res, block. Okay, this has health on it too. That's nice. Like this. We got a little bit of resistance across the board. It'd be nice to have a little bit more void than we have right now. But let's also look at swords. Whoops, I hit the wrong button. Let's go sword. Maybe this thing, broadsword. Okay, let's try this.
Want to go?
We want bleed, right? Oh, we got bleed. Let's go. Bleed damage, void damage. I think this is fine enough. So we're at 532 and 68. 532, 68. Okay, so that's an excellent increase in our damage. We can't do any more bleed right there, but we could probably do like speed or physical. We don't have either of those because I haven't really been shattering stuff, have I? Let's do one of these real quick. Physical and speed. Deal. Melee physical, increase melee damage. Remember, these two prefixes here, the melee physical and melee damage, don't apply to us. Unfortunately, because we're trying to scale bleed.
Gold won't save you, but a blade might.
But I think these upgrades here. So we upgraded both of our weapons, we upgraded both rings, and we have necrotic res implicit on our glove. It's really nice for us. So we're gonna put a couple more points in Cloak of Shadows, and then we'll start speccing into Blood Serpent Blades, which is bleed chance per equipped swords and some global damage over time. This build before shockwaves and after shockwaves is like actually 2 different builds. The biggest mistake that I made during this leveling here, I can already tell you, it was not relying enough on Puncture and relying too much on Flurry at a low level. Is it the Path of Exile player in me, chat? Is that why I look at this thing and I'm like, man, I wish I had more AoE? Like I said from the very beginning, one of the things that I want to do during this leveling session is like kind of compare and contrast this leveling with Channel Shockwave Flurry with the leveling that I did before with Smoke Bomb. So like the Smoke Bomb leveling was really good. I don't really know what single target or like what skill you would combine along with it. Like maybe just Puncture or something? I don't know. Honestly, it's a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Once you actually get all of the, I guess like the 2 keystones. What do you call them? The things that mechanically change the skill. They're like the little octagons instead of the circles in the skill spec. Is there a name for that? I want to call them keystones. That's like a PoE thing. Like, this is a keystone up here. This is like a keystone down here. What are those called? The bitter wings are really spooky, aren't they? What's the OP rogue leveling skill? Smoke bomb. Well, maybe this. I don't know. Or smoke bomb plus shadow daggers. Sure. Got some bleed stacks on him. Ticking for about 600 there. Ticking for 1300. Am I hitting him? Oh, not bad. Ah, please no. Please. Shoot. Ah, whoa. Wow, you start really close to the bad guys. All right. Wait, no. It's so melee. Oh my god. Holy crap. Chat, I'm so squishy. That's how far I reach, right? I reach almost like this little bit right here. With like the edge or like the dark shadow bit. If I take these two nodes off, you gain like that much. Like, it's fucking sucks. Come on. Where's my AoE, man? Like, it's noticeable. It's definitely noticeable, but it's so small. Come on, man. One of the things that I really liked about Cinder Strike when I was leveling it is there's one node in Cinder Strike that gives you like extra AoE per point, and you can spec 4 points into it. Each 1 point that I spec'd into AoE on Cinder Strike on the first hit felt like I was making the right decision. Each point felt like the devs were saying, hey, don't worry, you're not making a mistake, you're not getting jebaited as a new player, you're making a good choice. I was like, oh, that's really nice. I like when I make good choices. This is great. Flurry does not have that same sentiment behind it. Like, I'm specking 2 points into this, and I get like, fuck all. Like, come on, man. Could I have like a little bit more AoE than that? Just a tiny bit. Just a tiny bit. I think as my last skill, I would go shurikens and like spec into the sleight of hand stuff. But as it is, just, I don't know. Maybe elusive. I think elusive's so good. We'll grab these points up here for the unseen strike as well. I haven't looked at the notes yet. It's a surprise for me as well as it is for you. I know there's somebody out there in the world named Flintler who levels like that. I will not be leveling like that. Could somebody, I guess if anyone knows Vision or is in the Discord, is the next one happening this Friday? Like as soon as the patch starts? I feel like the answer is no. No, gotcha. Appreciate it. 4, 5, 6. So our highest DPS is hitting this guy 6 times and then channeling Flurry for a bit.
Is that the best you can do?
Because we can get the frenzy buff for 2 seconds.
Is that the best you could do? Your blood will be as a drop in my ocean.
Bloop. Get some mana back.
And then we also get all those extra like, lead stacks and whatnot.
You're starting to bore me.
You watched a Nicolas Cage movie called Pig? If I weren't working so hard just to kill this one monster,
You're starting to bore me.
I'd give you the timeout that you would deserve. How dare you, Kai? Wow, that stun lasted like 4 minutes. Oh my god.
We need to set up a build planner similar to this, because I don't know if this is what I would recommend to you, Chad. It's better than I thought it was going to be. I'll put it in the description. I kind of like it, but like in terms of leveling, it just doesn't compare. So there, we have two different ways that you can level up a rogue generically, right? So you could level one up using what we just did today, which was channeled shockwave flurry using puncture for buffs, which is a lot cooler than I thought it was going to be. I wish the AoE on this thing were a little bit bigger, either girthier or longer in some way. This node felt like I was getting jebaited. Like, technically, I could see the difference, but it really just wasn't much at all. But I ended up liking this a lot more than I thought it was going to. Flurry, before I got channeled and shockwave, was garbage. So if you do end up going this route, don't make the mistake that I did and use this skill. It is not a skill that's worth using. Just use puncture up until the point where you get both of those, right? So I've got the two URLs for the two different build planners here. If you want to play like a bow build, I mean, I would just play bow puncture. I don't think I really need to build out a planner for that. I think bow puncture is like so nice to play. But now that we've got these two things, we know what we're doing tomorrow as well. Yesterday we did Acolyte. Today we did some Rogue, along with a couple deaths. And then tomorrow we're going to be doing Primalist. So I'm not going to look at my notes yet. I don't know what the recommendation is going to be, but I guess we'll find out. We'll play some kind of Crit Fury Elite build, maybe, or maybe we could do anything else instead. Fingers crossed. But that's gonna be it for this leveling session right now. I'm gonna go take a quick break because I haven't stood up in a couple hours. Give me about 5 minutes and we'll be back. I think I'm gonna go jump onto the Poison Lich that we started putting together yesterday, because that build was really fun. So I'll be back in just a moment. Chat, thanks for being here.